I'll read the first section, you'll read the second section, I the third, and so forth. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
The Lord makes me lie down in green pastures, and leads me beside still waters.
You'll restore my soul, O Lord, and guide me along right pathways for your name's sake.
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup is running over.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
The second reading is from 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter. The time of my departure has come. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. From now on there is reserved for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
And Nathan will now pray for us. Thank you. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. These words from 2 Timothy express the apostle's understanding of himself at the end of his life. As his death approaches, he reflects on his life and what he has done. Far from having regrets or a desire to be able to do things over, he expresses confidence in the course he followed. Such words are good to hear as we remember Elroy and commend him to God's love and mercy. In addition, this passage is important for another reason. Betty picked this text because it was this passage which was used for her mother's funeral. And Elroy thought most highly of her. Because of this, the reading has a special meaning for Betty and the family, and connects in many deep ways. I have fought the fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. These are good words as we think of Elroy and his 96 years walking on the planet. Indeed, he almost made it to his 97th birthday, which would have been on October the 19th. Now, of course, with such words, we do not pretend that either Elroy or any one of us is perfect. We all make mistakes, can have blind spots, and we all stand in need of God's forgiveness and mercy. And yet, we give thanks for the many good qualities and the positive memories that we have of Elroy in his life among us. He was born on the farm in Andrew, Iowa. The family would move several times while he was young between Iowa and California, and Iowa and California, until finally settling in Compton. It was there that the family became members of First Lutheran Church in Compton, and it was at church that Elroy and Betty met. At that time, youth groups in most Lutheran churches were called Luther Leagues. I got an amen over there. Good. I remember that too. Elroy and Betty were active in theirs, and it was there that their love and relationship began. And not only that, they would stay in touch with others from that Luther League long past their high school and youth group days. Elroy and Betty married 73 years ago, and then set out to build their life together. And importantly, their desire was that they would share this life. One fundamental way was that they would start a family, and that family now includes children Charles, Anne, Mary, and Nancy, as well as 9 grandchildren and 13 great-grandchildren. Both Elroy and Betty have cherished their family and the love which has flowed within it. One thing I learned was that Elroy was a very generous person. Should a family member find him or herself in need, Elroy was ready to lend a helping hand. In doing this, he made challenges less daunting and life more doable. Such actions are significant gifts indeed. I also learned another interesting pattern as I talked with Betty and Mary the other day. It may not come as a surprise when I say that in planning family activities, it was Betty who would take the lead. She would get things together and then ask Elroy if he would like to participate. Betty said that she learned how best to ask Elroy. Oh, the fascinating ways of married life. We do get to figure out one another to some degree. Betty went on to say that sometimes Elroy would at first say that he was not interested in going on a particular activity. But after the car was loaded and everything was ready, he would change his mind and decide to go. Again, the fascinating ways of married life. We all do have our own special quirks and styles, don't we? Throughout the years, the family was a center of joy, love, support, in all seasons, from joyful ones to trying ones. The relationships were strong, and that was certainly the case, and it was made clear at the end of Elroy's life. As it became apparent that Elroy was coming to the end of his days, the children gathered in support. The grandchildren and great-grandchildren, others in family, came to spend last moments with Elroy. It is hard to ask for a better tribute. Now, as I said, as Elroy and Betty set out to build their life together, relationships were important. That Luther League group would prove to be a long-lasting source of friendships over the years. And Elroy and Betty did many things through the decades following a very active lifestyle. Cross-country skiing, tennis, backpacking, square dancing, and bicycling were all pursued. Indeed, Elroy would go on 100-mile rides along the Pacific coast. What a beautiful spot to do that. They also played bridge. Now, in my mind's eye, Elroy was not overly talkative. You agree with that? I can just picture him holding his cards and people not knowing exactly what he had. But then I was told that when he got a particularly good hand, he would get a twinkle in his eye. And one other interest Elroy had was that of baseball. He was quite a fan. His teams, the Dodgers and the Angels, both of whom are having a very good year. And even in his last week, watching a ball game at 4 p.m. was something not to be missed. Finally, another aspect of their life together was the church and the community. Again, we're talking relationships. Community with other believers was important. They were active in church in California, and when they moved to Eugene, they would join United Lutheran Church. Elroy and Betty have been regular and faithful participants in worship. It was also good to have Elroy as part of the men's monthly lunch group, where we have gone to Ye Old Pancake House for quite some time now. And there we talk about our lives, the world, and even at times our faith. We are, after all, Lutherans, you know. You don't want to talk about that stuff too much. These are just a few thoughts I'm glad to share about Elroy. And of course, there's so many other aspects to him, and there will be time for sharing other memories. But before we do that, I want us